Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's Friday night. So, welcome to Hunter's Gathering. I'm your producer and host, Markia McCarty. And this is your one stop chill stop where you can get a behind the scenes look at everything that goes on behind the games, everything from like art design and game design to talking with creators. Obviously, creators here at Hunters Entertainment, but also outside of our scope as well. So we do have a pretty fun show planned. We're going to be having Caleb Cleveland, our art director of Hunters Entertainment, will be joining us for not only our recap portion, where we're going to get an art director's viewpoint on the latest Rag and Bone campaign episodes that have happened. Not only that, but for the second half of the show, we're going to do a scenario play with our chat room. So you will be rolling for encounters. We'll be doing Tri-County Precinct, which is part of the intro manual for Outbreak Undead. And you can actually get that for free on drivethroughrpg.com. So yeah, stick around for that. While we're doing that, Caleb is also going to be drawing a portrait of our Rag and Bone characters. So that's going to be a pretty fun show. But first off, let's go ahead and catch everybody up on some news. So just want to reiterate this for everyone. I know a lot of you probably have already know about this, but Alex, our community guy, does a heck of a wonderful monthly newsletter, The Hunter's Gathering. And for November, I really think you should go ahead and check that out. You can go to huntersentertainment.com. And it's basically Hunter's Gathering for November 2020 for a number of reasons. We have a number of things that are going to be going on with that. Like keeping in mind our merch store, we have new content that goes up every Monday. So you only have that week to be able to go ahead and get that merch. So you can go to huntersentertainment.com/merch to see what we have right now. But it's a very long awaited merch. There are totes now that are available. Your zombie survival plan will fail. And then also Alice is missing. It's very, very cool. So you might want to go and check that out. Along with that, for free things that, because you know that's something you buy. So here's something you get for free. There is Free Content Fridays, and we have a whole lineup of things that'll be coming up. So go ahead and check out our newsletter. All of the content there is like an expansion on everything Hunters Entertainment related. Like this month, of course, we have Outbreak Undead, like that you can get with RPG drive through. I'm sorry, drive through RPG.com. And a number of different, I'm just going to tell you my favorite, and then I want you to go and see the rest for yourself, because it can be everything from expanding your kids on bikes to your Icarus. It's really good to go ahead and check out our Free Content Fridays. My favorite that we have right now is the Powered by Kids on Bikes line. There is going back to small towns with it. And our developer, Matt Fantastic, is going to the wonderful little town of New Haven, Connecticut. So it's a full adventure prompt for the game, and the same style as seen in the previous releases. So, and then there's even a couple of new rules in there for you to be able to consider. So, very fun things like that. Go ahead and, like I said, check it out on the newsletter. For some other news, obviously, we're having a very Outbreak Undead Rag and Bone centered show for this particular day. So, along with that, hope you really enjoyed what happened on Tuesday. So, because next week there will be, instead of doing a Rag and Bone, we're going to do a pause on that for one episode only and give you a playtest of Ragnarok. So that'll be happening on Tuesday at 6 p.m. PT, the same time slot that Rag and Bone normally is, but you're going to get some down and dirty with some heavy rock metal fantasy. So look forward to that. I know that I am. I don't know if I'm going to be the same character that I've been this entire time, Carthusis, but probably, maybe, perhaps, we shall see. So, yes, once again, go ahead and check out that newsletter. Also, feel free to follow us, subscribe. We have really great emotes and more on the way. And there's a number of Discord privileges. Go ahead and look at our Discord also that you would get. And with that, let's go ahead and that wraps up our news segment. And I'm going to introduce you to our guest for tonight's show. Such a lovely person. Not only extremely talented and extremely humble and like filled with all of the dad jokes. Just go ahead and welcome Caleb Cleveland, the art director of Hunters Entertainment. Hey, Caleb.
Hello, Markia. Thank you so much for that wonderful intro and for inviting me to be your guest on tonight's Hunters Gathering.
Oh, we had a blast last time. I'm so glad that you're here. This is like the perfect way to begin. I consider November to be like an arts and crafts month. So very
Totally.
like hands-on with things that you do with people, do with friends. So thank you so much for having the time to like come on and do all this fun your eye on things for us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much. It's one of my favorite things in the world is to take such um, a really fun storytelling art form like role playing games, tabletop games, and to supply some sort of visual to it. So, or at the very least, like a visual kind of perspective like this. So I can't wait to I can't wait to start engaging with you on this. It's going to be great.
Yeah, yeah. This well, we're always trying something new here at Hunter's Gathering. So this would just be another new thing, and we'll see how it goes. Schedule's willing, and if we have a good time with it, then I mean, I love doing live illustration shows with you. So
Thank you. Me too. The last time was so much fun. I got to take a stab at actually illustrating Carthusis for the first time ever. It was it was a blast, and getting feedback from chat and feedback from you. I had never done a piranha cape before, so yeah. So if you guys are unfamiliar with that episode, that yeah, feel free to check it out. I believe it's on VOD. Um,
yes.
but it's yeah, it was a hoot. Um, you never know exactly what to expect when you're dealing with hunters gathering, but it's always fun, and it's always really fun and intimate, and it's a fantastic sharing experience for everybody.
Yeah, and then also thank you for the reminder for those out there. Yes, we have just about everything on VOD. So if you aren't a subscriber, and we do post all of our content on YouTube a week later. So, for instance, you should see this. You should actually see this on YouTube next Thursday, for instance, for this particular one. But that one is definitely up. The live draw with Caleb. Okay, so and then also hi everyone in the chat. Welcome. Love seeing all these familiar faces. Very cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and do some recap of what's going on. Tuesday nights we have Hunters Presents Outbreak Undead Rag and Bone, and just everything is going everywhere. I have to say this was an excellent time for our GM Knox Weiler Birth to decide to do a
So good,
pause
so
in
good.
action for us to then do a Ragnarok play later. uh, Caleb, did you have a chance to see the episode?
I did. Um, it was my very. I've been remiss. I'm also a teacher, in addition to being an art director here at Hunters. So my days tend to be a little bit full, and I don't have. I need to be able to make more time to indulge in some good old fashioned self care and just watching amazing actors get pummeled by zombies. Um, and that's exactly what this was. This past episode was a treat. I got to see you bring some serious acting chops into this. This was really really fun. Um, I mean, your characters are always uh, shall we say, on the cusp of sassy to abusive. But they're no, but they're always so great because you always just play it to the nines, and and you never give whoever is GMing just the smallest margin. I just love it. The way you milk it to the last drop. It's so great, and I can tell that the other players were really they felt pretty fortunate to have you in their corner because this was there were some real stakes involved, especially like immediately once the game began. Knox did this amazing job setting the scene about this desolate farm that had been reinforced with all these found materials. Um, that it was sort of murky and sort of swamped. It was in the countryside. It's post-apocalyptic, so everything, of course, is crap. But at the same time, it's it, there. Both he and you guys did this amazing job of like making us feel like desperate that there were real stakes involved, and there is just immediately upon. Uh, I mean, I don't. I'm a teacher. I tend to never stop talking. I'm sorry, but immediately upon seeing where Lampwick was as the episode began, and what you guys were all so, especially your character, was also were all so desperate to make sure that he could get the help he needed. You were willing to grift or to scam anything you could in order to make sure that everybody got the safety and the security that they needed. I just thought it was so cool.
Yeah, with what you're saying with that, it's like, yeah, because it's interesting because with our group, these aren't, these aren't heroes. These are people with dark pasts that are traveling together that are literally rag and bone people. And yeah, just real quick with who's playing who for Lampwick, since I was talking about
Oh yeah,
Luis
I'm so
Carrazzo.
sorry. Please.
No, absolutely not. Luis Carrazzo is playing Lampwick, and Caleb as. Do you have any favorite Lampwick moments? Because Luis is doing some really great things with Lampwick, who looks like is a blackmailer, is a murderer, is basically a con artist and grifter type of a deal, but which also means that he has like really great like he's got a presence and skills when it comes to speaking. He's definitely the speaker of the group type of a deal. uh,
Well, maybe not this go. I felt like you were sort of like taking point in that regard. I felt like he was kind of needing more help than anything else. I mean, I think we need to. I would need to go back a couple of episodes in order to see Lampwick at his height. In his powers or in his element. But this time, I felt like he was sort of needing his pals. He was sort of needing his crew because he was in a bad spot,
he
and
was
I felt
basically
like so
poisoned.
he had to sort of take a seat and let you and some of the other players to sort of help him out of this really sticky situation. I don't want to get too much into it. I don't want to spoil too much.
Yeah,
I don't want
man,
to.
no, it's good. We can still. I like the way that you're going about things. With the other characters, we have Achira Sampson, who's played by me, who
Yep.
I like that modifier, sassy but abusive.
On the cusp. On the cusp.
All the
I mean, maybe if Lampwick had been more in his element, you would have been able to sort of like pull back a little bit. But this time, you were doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah, we did have a man down as it was with a poisoning episode that had happened to him. But as far as we know, it is just food poison and not something likely nefarious. Because something that the chat would want to, if you don't already know this, one of the characters within Rag and Bone is not working in the best interests of everybody else. So, and we don't know who that is as players. We don't. And the rest of the players and characters, we have Juniper Song, played by Michelle Wynn Bradley, who is a a rag and bone person in this world that was actually born during the zombie apocalypse. So that is literally all that she has known. So that makes a very different type of character than, say, any of the other characters that had at least experienced modern day life. Also, to something to keep in mind is that the zombie apocalypse, although it is present day now for rag and bone, uh, the zombie apocalypse happened in 1995.
Yeah.
And so think of like a social media freeze, a social media pop culture freeze that happened there. VCRs, VHSs, that kind of a thing. Was it a Fresh Prince of Bel Air? You have. I'm certain that's 1995. Yeah, because that's like 8 seasons
It was
long.
still
That's
there. It was still
1995.
there.
Yeah. So you have that, and it freezes there, and then up to this present day. So, and also we have Abigail Rose, played by Melee Damage, and Abigail Rose is an ex nun. So you a former nun. So you would think, oh, yeah, this character could not possibly be the nefarious one in this group, or and here's a conjecture, what is it, wolf in sheep's clothing type of a deal, like wolf in a nun's habit type of a deal. Yeah.
Yes.
Although she's not wearing a nun habit, but you get what I mean. Basically with that. So
As
and
Alex is saying in chat, someone's being sus. Maybe the nun is sus.
there we
She might
go.
be
There we
sus.
go. So we don't know who it is, and Knox has done a really great job of playing everybody in certain scenarios, like where you could play against other people. So it's just going to get wild and wilder if we live more. If we don't die. So let's go ahead and actually this encompasses what's going on right now. And then also during this clip, we'll see exactly the settlement that they have come across. And it's actually like a map view with it, which plays in wonderfully with our episode. And also, I want to do like a really big thanks to Alex, our community guy, for helping with time codes and clips like every week for our recap segments. So let's go ahead and oh, what?
What one real quick thing,
Yes.
Alex. Also, if you haven't watched any of the episodes, our amazing Alex also happens to have a little bit of a starring role in the sort of bookending the beginning of each episode as the one of our so named Rag and Bone Men, and
That is true.
it's
Ten
just
four.
does an amazing job. All of you do an amazing job, but actually seeing Alex do his acting work with that is just as sort of like his own little recap of the previous episode.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic way to start each one off.
Yeah, and such a good reason to watch the VODs of
Very
the
cool.
campaign, also because you do get that recap with that character. Oh, wonderful. Okay, so let's go ahead and play this first clip.
All right, look. This has gotten a little tense, you're right. And we are on the same side, Lampwick. You're absolutely right. Let's just get this examination over with and I'll get you back here. I promise you nothing is going to happen. We're working our way around the back of the farmhouse. I have a special entrance that leads directly into my office. You will come in contact with no other members of this encampment. If you are sick, that's important, all right? We can't have you spreading what you have. Second of all, I can't have my people seeing both of you walking around openly with weapons. It makes them nervous. And right now, when you came through our gates, you brought those things to our door. That field was planted specifically to protect us, and we knew the dangers. But I'll tell you right now, when they get riled up, they bring more. And so it's essential that we maintain some amount of peace here. We can't have gunfire. We can't have the zombies outside scratching at our gates. I apologize. But the fact that you're sick, Lampwick, whether it is some sort of allergic reaction or just something you ate, has to be taken seriously. Do you understand?
I understand 100%, and I was totally willing to go along. In fact, my next impulse was to find you. This just came on suddenly, so I'm glad. Let's squash it. Let's move on.
All right. We're going to trust you, but you have to trust us. All right, Achira?
Indeed. And in fact, if you hadn't already come up, I would have been like, it appears to me he's having an adverse and allergic reaction to citrus. And I only know this because I have the same thing to oxycodone. So
All right. Let's move out. And the four of you begin working your way. You do have your scythe on you, Achira.
yeah, the long
It is.
gun she visibly
Yep.
left.
And so the four of you are working your way across the field towards the house. Abigail, you look over and you see Juniper there, watching all of this unfold. David is still there, standing guard by your small encampment, and kind of quickly steps away to start to try to peek through portions of the fence to see what's happening outside. What did the two of you wish to do?
I would like to step a little closer to see what's going on outside as well. Now that that's done, I remember you saying that I heard that there had been gunfire that had stopped.
The gunfire has stopped.
I'd like to see what that's all about.
How are you going to do that?
What there like a crack in between something that I can look through? Are there any little like slats that I can move to the side to peek through?
This is a good time for us to share with everyone now the map of Grey Ridge. If you look at your map here, you'll easily see, Abigail, that there is a very large wooden fence that works its way around this encampment. Can you see the pings that I'm putting into Rule 20?
I believe I can. Yes.
All right. You are currently here. The gate is here. There is a rough road that runs down this direction. This is the main house. On the other side of you, very close by, is this broken down old barn. There is a silo attached to it. Additionally, there are some outhouses and other small buildings that have been dug out in the middle of all of the rubble of this just decayed old building. There are additional pins and small gardens and fields all throughout the interior yard. Additionally, there are small encampments here for individuals who do not live within the walls of the main house. You press yourself up against this wall. There are cracks. I would like for you to make a spot listen check. It is dark. I'm going to give you 2 degrees of difficulty. Meanwhile, Juniper, you have the cards safely in your pocket, and you watch as both Lampwick and Achira are led away by the doctor and Chuckwagon. David, the other guard, is still there, and you see as Abigail starts to press herself up against the fencing here to try to see what's beyond the wall. What would you like to do?
I'd like to take Achira and Lampwick's weapons they left, put them under my cool cape jacket thing that I've got.
Mm-hmm.
Just like hold on to them, but I'd like to do it so no one sees me do that. So maybe stealthy.
Yes, of course. Go ahead and make a stealth check. There's no difficulty here. No one seems to be paying a lot of attention to you, Juniper.
I got 1 failure.
Okay, so that is a failure. Do you want to leave it as a failure?
Sure, I'm saving it. I feel like something bad's gonna happen later.
Is that what you feel?
I feel that I'm not gonna use any of my things yet. No, I'll take that 1 failure.
Interesting. You do take the failure, and you knock over Achira's rifle as you're stumbling forward, and it does make some noise. Both David and Abigail hear you.
Yeah. Oh, We keep it real intense. That's what's going on with this. Yeah. So obviously we have that map that Knox has given us for with Roll 20 and being able to see the layout, and that really comes into effect during this episode, and would definitely come into effect later with our characters moving around and being able to know the layout of everything, be like, where is the farmhouse, where is the mine shaft, everything like that. So something that I wanted to talk with you, Caleb, of an art director type of point of view with this, is just like, where would your eye be focused with this? Obviously, for the game, we have to have a bird's eye to be able to know as players where we're going. But I mean, this campaign itself, with like the intensity, the very fact that our players at this point, they went from Molotoving uh a horde of zombies, fleeing through the forest, confronting a very strange, very religious woman and her companion who was sick, to then fleeing through this field of mud that was actually mud and zombies, and just like
Beautiful.
waiting to grab, losing most of their supplies, to then going into the settlement to try to talk their way into some sort of bartering. But unfortunately, just their journey there has brought this horde of zombies to them. So with the map, like I said, we have to have that bird's eye for Roll 20. But you, as an art director, Caleb, where would your eye focus for when we first see this village? If you can
Oh,
take us on a little, yeah.
well, it would have to be, I obviously I would, if we were going to do an illustration of it, we'd be following you guys as you approach this, this makeshift barricade that's in front of this little farming compound. And Knox does an amazing job of painting this word picture. It's not just like what you see, but he evokes other senses as well. It's like what you hear, the smell of the mud, the sound of your boots sucking the wet ground as you trod this completely you know useless and mud strewn road. That's it's the only path you have to get to what is obviously the safest place around. There are fields around. There are scarecrows, as he mentions, um, and it's just really cool. Obviously, I would have to sort of do like what is known as an establishing shot and show you guys approaching this what once was a farmhouse and is now a makeshift fort with little platforms and places for sharpshooting and for people with scopes and binoculars, like Neville, for example. Um, he's one of the characters that Knox plays as an NPC in this episode. But it's just it. The whole thing just immediately, it just smells like autumn in the Midwest. There's mist on the ground. Everything is damp, and it's basically things are ripe for going worse. And it's a perfect scenario for the calm right before the storm, and that's exactly what this episode is. It's perfect for that in that regard.
Yeah. The zombies are coming, and we're trying to make things work. We're trying not to get too separated as a party. And uh yeah, actually, it's one of the things that we've really enjoyed with this campaign, that our GM Knox has done, is do a slow build where we get to really know these characters, like through a sequence of different flashbacks, and then that also then informs the choices that we make as characters in the present. So, like for instance, with my character, Achira Sampson, she had an extremely close relationship with her brother, who ended up committing suicide. And it is an intense journey to figure that out with things. So for her to be reacting in that way with Luisa's character Lampwick, then it's like, oh, is there a layer of she's casting her big brother onto this individual. And it's like, if that's happening, then does that mean she's going to trust him, even though someone in this group is going to, take, I'm not going to say take out everybody else. Someone in the group is sus.
Right.
So someone is an imposter.
No, that's it. That's it. And it's like, is Achira willing to, how much is she willing to risk in order to make sure that nothing bad happens to this person that she sees as an older brother? And if only just to keep from reliving what you just relived, or what you just acted out. And I just feel like that's it's a really really cool way of taking this very improv heavy game mechanic that Outbreak uses. It's I mentioned it to Marquia during the break. Knox has to sort of like this is a game that requires you to work on your feet a lot, especially as the GM, because you can't think too far ahead. So much of this game is about things going really quick off the rails now. And I mean, you can do some level of planning, but it's and he's very very good at it. And he allows you to take part in it with these flashbacks, and I feel like that's so cool. You can sort of you can plant these seeds that you can harvest later. I think it's so good.
Yeah, like some of the flashbacks that he's done with a Juniper song, for
Oh
instance,
gosh,
because keeping in mind, all of her flashbacks will be during zombie apocalypse,
right. There was
definitely.
never a
And
before for
there
her.
was never a before for her or her sister, Olive, and then like getting that dynamic, and then how is it that she survived up to this point? So yeah, yeah. Actually, that brings us to our next clip.
Juniper is sus though, 100%.
Juniper sus, you think?
100%.
Okay, I'm so curious for chat that's been following along with us. Who do you think is sus? I've seen a couple of comments on some of the other like chats where it's like, oh, it's obviously this person because, and then others were like, okay, I guess it's not her, or I guess it's not him, type of a deal. So I am wondering.
Well, I guess it's I don't want to paint too close a picture. Okay, this is just here's all right. Well, do I want to say it now or should I save it for the end? Like, do we want Caleb's madcap theories or should we wait for the end? Or
Ooh,
yeah, let's
ooh.
let's I'll put a
Okay, let's
I'll
let's
table that for right now and we'll save it for later.
yes, let's do the clip, and then let's do madcap theories
Let's do
of who's actually sus. I love this. I love this a lot. Okay, so with this part of the recap, we are uh literally Luis's character Lampwick has been ferreted out as being sick. He's getting separated from the group. We're trying to find different ways to not literally have his character just get thrown somewhere and like shot in the head because
it.
he's sick and they don't
There's
understand.
just over 2 dozen people in this place, and every single one of them says, "Sick? What? Sick?"
Like
And
what? It's like, are
immediately,
you coughing? Are you coughing right
exactly. Oh, what's wrong
now?
with you? You feeling a little hot? Feeling a little
What?
temperature?
What?
And immediately they're like throwing him out to the zombies or just cap him.
Exactly.
And you're just like, no, no, we don't want anything to happen to our pals. And you go to some extreme lengths to make sure the Lampwick's taken care of. And Lampwick for the most part of this has to let you take point. And I feel like it's a really, really cool little dynamic that you and Louise had where he's just like, yep, absolutely. What she said, you know, it's and you come up with this amazing this little idea about giving an explanation for why he's feeling all sick. Oh, it's nothing. It's totally normal. This happens to everybody. He ate some bread, and it can't gluten, can't do it. You know. But anyway, that's not it, of course.
Yeah, no, but those are definite reasons that this character could have easily have said, because it's like yeah, Achira at that point in time, Achira is just made of lies.
You
Basically.
sit on a very comfortable throne of
Yeah.
life.
Okay, so but the zombies are at the gate. We're trying to figure out a way to batten down our defenses.
Oh God.
And yeah, and that's the clip that we're talking about. Zombies at the door, and what will these defense plans be? So let's go ahead and play that clip now.
Look, one of our members of the community found a box in the mines pretty deep. It was pretty dangerous, so we sealed it up and we have it buried not too far away. It's
All right.
dynamite.
That's a wonderful thing to find in a box.
Yeah, well, it was sweating, so we weren't going to have it stick around anywhere near our buildings. Yumiko, one of our members, she has a map of where she buried it.
And if I get to that and I can dig it out, where do you want me to set it off? Because at this point, I do not know where your safe haven is, and I don't want to accidentally set it off anywhere near where you guys are headed. I'd like to be as far away from the rest of you as possible.
I
So
think you
once I
bring it
find,
out. Yeah. I think you
yeah,
bring it out to the middle of the yard. And if that wall breaches, rather than just sending you out, we leave you behind and you ignite it. If
I'm
you're
for that.
if you're offering.
If they can't figure out how to make a better distraction than me doing this when all else fails so that we can keep the medical facility not overrun, I will in fact ignite it in the middle of all of those guys.
I mean, it would slow them down, and it would certainly give everyone else an opportunity to see themselves to safety, and would give us every opportunity to keep them off the walls long enough to save this place. I don't know. It's up to you, Abigail, and we're not going to make that decision for you, but we can at least make it worth your sacrifice. The dynamite would do that. If you can think of a way to get it even further out, you might be able to draw them away, but I don't see how you're going to drag a crate of sweaty dynamite all the way across the field of those things and not ignite it in your first 5 steps.
I can try my hardest.
All right. Lampwick and Achira, what are you doing to build a catapult?
Well, since it's your idea, why don't you take the lead?
Is literally something for a backing and two very rubbery type of instances on the side. You just put what's in it. I mean, you can build something to like stick into the ground to attach the rubber things on, or you can have two people like hold, the rubber instances, and you just pull that like all the way back, and you just let it go. And as a kid, I mean, I know this, but I'm very certain Achira would have gotten into this mess
Mhm.
as a kid. That crap goes like half a football field. You just stretch it back and you let it fly. So
So we need two solid posts that we can
no,
tie that
no, you
around.
you literally can do this with 4 kids.
Do do
I'm,
I
I'm,
mean,
I,
got it.
I'm
Yeah, so
telling you from like personal
We're
experience,
the
you can
posts.
literally do this from four
mhm,
kids.
mhm, mhm. So
It's
your
it's
plan.
literally two to hold,
Mhm,
one to stretch back, and one to place. And then
mhm.
it's
Got it.
like,
All right, so gather your resources. Since you're not actually constructing anything specifically, I'm not going to have you make an engineering roll. What I will do, however, is if you get the materials, we'll talk about that next. So Chuckwagon comes back. The doc talks to Chuckwagon. You, Chuckwagon, Lampwick, and Achira begin to gather materials to do this. Is that fair?
That sounds excellent.
yeah,
Okay.
I was gonna look for their most explosive thing, whether it's official or unofficial.
How many survival points do each of you have?
200.
200.
Okay, I'm going to take 50 off of each of you, and we're going to get you everything that you need to do this, and you'll have a portable catapult.
All right.
Got it. Yeah, defense against zombies, but you know what? You know what they say, your zombie plan will fail. I mean, that's what like super intelligent people I don't think it's anyone I know personally, but it's just like an old wisdom thing that your zombie plan will fail.
It's an old adage from like the sea.
Yeah, yeah. I think Maya Angelou said it.
That's it.
So, you know,
Or
it was
Toni
right
Morrison.
after right after when someone shows you who they are the first time, believe them, your zombie plan will fail.
That's it. I think Whoopi Goldberg said it best in
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure she said in the movie
Color
Ghost.
Zombie.
It was one of those things where she likened Patrick Swayze's character. I
That's
know
it.
exactly the part that you're talking about. But in any case, with this, yeah. Okay, okay, obviously neither Caleb nor myself know who is the imposter in
Nope.
this group.
No,
This
nothing.
group of ragtag, rag and bone people. So Caleb, but you had a possible theory. So, and I'm sure people in chat also have possible theories, but go ahead. Keeping in mind, yeah, we
Well, I
don't
don't
know.
want to name
But we have
names,
theories.
but
You're
Juniper.
not gonna name names with your theory.
No, Juniper, 100% sus.
Mm,
I feel like
mm.
when I think about this, it's like, okay, who has the least to lose? Um, here's the thing. Her character was born in this situation. She's never known anything other than this. Um, so her like Achira, Abigail, Lampwick, their nightmare is her every day, in my opinion. She doesn't have a happy place to go back to. It's always been feast or famine, fight or flight, and I feel like for that reason, and I don't know that much about her background. I know that there's probably a lot more I could look into this, but I feel like just as a character, and plus she tends to be. I mean, the way that she's being played by who's the actor again? Who's the performer?
Michelle Wynn Bradley.
Michelle Wynn Bradley. Thank you. She is play. She always tends to play her a little on edge. Like she wouldn't take much of a nudge to push her into, well, got to firebomb this place and move on and start again. And I feel like it like literally. I every so often she gets that sort of like look into her eye when she's on camera, and I'm just like, she's about ready to just like throw the firebomb behind her and just move on. Um, because again, like I'm saying, it's just a theory, but I
Mhm.
feel like 100% she is sus.
I enjoy these reasons. For some reason I'm like super. Yeah, you're making, and I like Alex underscore red eye, Alex, our community guy, made a really good point that you're making a real good case here for it
Well, I feel
because
like everybody else has suspicions and acts kind of suspicious as well, but I'm like, it's the zombie apocalypse. Everybody's going to have to sort of like look out for themselves to a certain degree, and everybody does have dodgy pasts and stuff like that. But I'm like, who wouldn't at this stage? Everybody's had to make really dodgy sacrifices or had to make decisions that they regret. And yeah, they have troubled paths and stuff, but I feel like I don't know. Juniper seems to be the one that's the most okay with her past
hmm,
choices. She looks like somebody who's she may be troubled, but I feel like given a chance, she'd probably do it again. At least, but again, my theory. That's all.
yeah, yeah. No, it's got legs. It's got legs. It's walking.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It does.
I'm gonna have to start looking more into Juniper's actions. I think I was very, very focused on Abigail being a former nun, but it's like, you know what? Maybe I need to because it doesn't
Nuns can't be trusted.
necessarily.
You're right.
Yeah, being an imposter doesn't necessarily mean like it isn't Among Us, where it's just like stabby, stabby, stab, vent. It's not like that with this. It's literally someone is going to act in their best interests no matter what, and if they literally grew up that way, then that's just part of their nature, right?
Right.
So
Stabby, stabby,
so
stab vent. That's going to go on the next T-shirt.
Is it
Yeah.
Sammy Stab Vent?
Vent.
I actually can we make that into a 2 panel or
Absolutely,
a
yes, we
four
can.
panel? I would buy that. I'd wear that. Oh,
Well,
I'll come up with weird things, Caleb, and you like draw them, and let's put it on merchants and people buy it.
see,
Let's do that.
this is the $1 million idea. This is why you and I make such a great team on Hunters Entertainment stream here on Twitch, because I feel like we're coming up with some good stuff. You want to hear some emote ideas? For example, blame Ivan. I feel like
Oh,
that needs to be that needs to be an emote. Yeah,
mm,
put it down there 1,000 times. Um, Also, just like the devil's horns for when we're doing Ragnarok, I feel like that's a given as well.
there you go.
Just yeah, or just whenever risk or
Oh yeah,
zombie head.
Risk.
Yes, risk.
Mm, mm.
Um, Zombie head in the shape of a die or something like that. I feel like there's a million emotes that
There's
we need to take advantage of the powers we have here. Um,
I love these ideas. You're full of awesome
I'm
ideas.
full of something, but thank you very much
Okay.
for humoring me.
Okay, so yeah, so that's gonna conclude our recap for I, I very much enjoyed this. Yeah, this is going to conclude our recap portion for this. When we come back from our 10-minute break, what will be happening is that Caleb will be drawing portraits or like a portrait picture of our rag and bone characters. They're going to tend to resemble more of us since we haven't really described how everybody looks. So maybe a show in the future after people like describe how they look, then there's a different thing that happens. So we'll have that, and along with that we'll be doing a scenario play of Tri-County Precinct with our chat room, so y'all will be included in like dice rolls for encounters. We'll set a mood while we'll also be seeing the live draw of Caleb. And yeah, keeping in mind, go ahead and give us a sub. There are sub goals that we have for our Hunters Presents campaign, and those are usually shown at the bottom of the screen. You can see it on any of our VODs or campaign. There's certain subscriber and follow goals to get, as in one or the other. So that we can get resources for our players, because this is an ongoing campaign. So it's like literally they play until they die in this Outbreak Undead. So resources are very important. Along with that, there is Scry. It's like Foreteller Scry. Please look at our Hunters Entertainment newsletter for more information of like updates that we have. That we also have a VOD where we go in depth into Foreteller and also Scry. And with that, the next update is accumulating points by watching either Hunters Presents on Tuesdays or Hunters Gathering on Fridays. So, and then those points can go towards things that we need as players, such as, remember, we were talking about defense plans. There were a bunch of points that would go into defense of different walls that we had within that particular
So
game.
brilliant.
So it's like, yeah, it's a whole thing. Subscribers get a certain amount of points each month, and then sometimes there's like bonus things. Non-subscribers will also be able to accumulate that time. So yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and take a 10-minute break, and when we come back, we'll be doing this live draw, and then all of you in the chat, remember. And also, thank you so much. Like Alex actually said, the chat saved lives, y'all. It's like,
No
yes,
doubt.
no doubt you did. Those zombies would we would have been standing there trying to do the slingshot and just like flying squirrel zombie,
Yeah.
just right on top of us.
No, you got the chat really played a big role in this game. I felt like it was really really fun, very interactive. The more points the chat spent, the more resources that the players had in order to build up their defenses, so that they could manage to get out just a little bit faster or mitigate risk. And
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
a brilliant
So we
move.
could try a little bit harder, you know.
Yes.
Yes, that song, that old chestnut. So yeah, so we will thank you so much for our mods, also our tech wizard JB Jara, who thanks to all of y'all we'll be able to have like a really great second half of our show. Thanks so much, Caleb, for joining us in our first half. And we will see y'all in 10 minutes and we will get our live illustration, scenario play, and draw on.
Thank you.